Well, yesterday was Saturday, and several things happened. I uh, I did get a card finally from my mom, 30 months into my cancer diagnosis, and then my sister decided to weigh in on that and discuss the card, and she kind of got down in the weeds with a few things. So, Star, since you decided to do that, I don't mind you quoting me as long as you quote me correctly. As far as the card goes, I made a couple of your notes here. It says, sorry you misunderstood Mom's card. I'm sorry that we have been a disappointment to you all your life. And that's why you're even in Clarksville. You were jobless and homeless in Colorado and called our parents for help again in August of 2002. Well, that's really got nothing to do with my cancer diagnosis and what's been going on for the last 30 months, but I'll address some of that as well. Starting with a card that I got from Mom, Pam intercepted the card and she wasn't sure she wanted me to even read the card. And in fact, after she did read the card, she reluctantly handed it to me and I read it, and it was a very negative card. So it wasn't just me that misinterpreted Mom's card. Pam also was bothered by the card as well. And for Pam to be bothered enough that she thinks she needs to intercept my mail now says a lot. Interesting, speaking of being homeless and jobless in Colorado, I've worked 2 or 3 jobs most of my life. I did get laid off in Colorado with 400 other techs, all of us working for Gateway Computer. However, I still had work, I still had a video business, and I still had a roof over my head, so it wasn't like I was homeless and jobless. Uh, I did learn about a job opening in Clarksville at that time, so I decided to put in for the job. I did an interview over the phone, and I got hired. And Dad helped me. He was my legs. Helped me come up with a place to stay. And in fact, Dad's always been there for me. I've said that before on Facebook. I felt sorry for Dad when I moved back here because he was so disappointed with retirement. He didn't enjoy his retirement at all. And he told me one day when we were fishing, he never thought it would be like this. Some things happened, of course, at Pleasant View Baptist Church, where he was attending church and had attended there all of my life. And he felt the need. Some things happened that embarrassed him. Family stuff had nothing to do with me. And he felt the need to move his church membership to a different location, uh, just so he could kind of get a fresh start and a fresh perspective. Except my brother. My brother called me up when I was diagnosed with cancer, and he wanted to know where I wanted to spend eternity. And outside of that, he really didn't care to talk about anything. And that's the last time we spoke. I see where you are saying that the last time you reached out was at the fundraiser we did, which was a good time with the dogs. We did. I know that you and Julie and her mom was there. Her mom always very nice to us. Her mom actually called when I talked to Pam and actually said she wanted us to know that she wasn't like the rest of you and that she was sorry we're going through some rough times and if there's anything that she could do to help us to let her know. And I felt like you came out of curiosity that day. I saw you in a distance, wasn't where we weren't close enough to talk or anything. So if you thought I was ignoring you, I apologize for that. But I wasn't ignoring you. You just weren't within any shouting distance of me. You got me curious about the card I sent to Mom, where Bob, it was a children's prayer on one side, I guess, and something else on the other side, and you said he was 2 or 3 at the time. When Bob was 2 or 3 years old, we weren't going to any churches at that time. I may have seen something later when we were going through divorce, and Bob would have been about 7 or 8 years old at that time. And I may have sent Mom something then because I knew she was into things like that. And I'm glad she was able to enjoy that and stick that in her Bible. I see, Star, where you mentioned here that you don't know how to reconnect with me. Anything that you think you say is wrong and do. And, simply reconnecting would be, you start with a phone. Pick the phone up. Hey, how you doing? Let's go get a bite to eat. Remember when I moved back here, you and I went and had lunch a few times. I enjoyed that. That was fun. We were reconnecting after several years. We could have still been doing that with the cancer. And certainly by now you should know my stance. I'm an atheist. I don't buy into your doctrine, your dogma. And you need to learn to accept that. Wilbur called me when I was first diagnosed with cancer. He said the reason for his call was simply to see where I was going to spend eternity. Now, if you don't call that pushing faith, I don't know what is. And 30 months into this, you claim that you don't want to be a bother during this most challenging time. And this sort of strikes me as not only odd, but a bit funny that 30 months into my diagnosis, you would make that statement. I don't know how to respond to that. I really don't know what to say to that. Because at some point, if this were reversed, I would hope that I would have contacted you or Wilbur or whoever to start a dialogue and just to be there as a family member and as a brother and let you know I'm there and not feel like, oh no, we don't want to call Dwight, I don't want to bother him. He's going through some challenging times. Well, duh. They're pretty challenging. And lately been very challenging in dealing with cancer pain and so forth. But we cancer victims that are especially terminal and going through a lot of pain and suffering, we're very appreciative of people contacting us, asking us how it's going, meeting people for lunch. I know you've been following me for some time on Facebook. I know you've seen where I go out and meet people at O'Charlie's a lot for lunch. You and I used to do lunch when I first moved back here. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And we could have still been doing that while I've got cancer. Just because I got cancer doesn't mean everyone has to go hide because they're afraid that they don't want to upset me or bother me during these challenging times. Now, getting a card like I got from my mom today, Pam noted was challenging enough. In that card, it was negative enough that she plans to intercept my mail and scan my mail before I get it from now on, to which I said that's fine. Because I don't need to get a lot of negative cards and mail from people. However, it's good to hear from folks who are more positive and more upbeat and seem to genuinely care about what's going on in my life. I see you made a reference to Dad getting on his knees and praying for me when he had Alzheimer's. I remember the hospice clergy coming in, asking him questions about his home church that he couldn't answer. couldn't answer who his pastor was. And again, I'm not exactly clear on all the details and why he had to uproot his church home, and which was Pleasant View Baptist Church, and decide to move into town with his new church home because he something embarrassed him, or something was going on at Pleasant View, and he didn't think he could go back there anymore. You say that you guys never pushed faith on me, and that you didn't think faith was the problem, and you're right. It's not the sole problem. There was a lot going on in our families, like there is in most families. Most of these people you read on Facebook that seem to have everything together, and they got the perfect little houses and the perfect little vacations, and they're all happy, and life is treating them so good, and they're so blessed, and yada yada yada. Not true. Everybody's got a world of problems. Everybody. I've had people that I thought, gee, this is like the perfect family right here, and I've had them contact me to tell me some of the stories, cancer stories, and that were going on in their families' lives. And believe me, everyone's got their share of issues, faith. And even though you know where I stand, you still continue to bring faith up a lot. And when you send me cards and things, they're all on Jesus cards. They're all on some kind of faith-based card. And these aren't things that you do if you're not pushing your faith. And I don't know how you cannot see that. What a lot of families do when someone in the family comes out and announces they're an atheist, they just make a golden rule. Okay, we won't talk religion. I've gotten some feedback from some folks that attend your Sunday school class where my name comes up quite frequently. And I never understood how a church could get away with putting people's name on prayer lists or on some kind of sheets of paper that they pass out that says, here's our cancer list. I mean, to some people that would be confidential. Now, I've been very open about my cancer, but for Terry Ray, who I know you know who I'm talking about, to show up at my house, and he was dishonest about his approach and why he actually came over, but he goes back to Hilldale Baptist Church, and him and a few others decided to rip me up in the class pretty good. One of your friends does that on Facebook, and you actually hit the like button on someone who ripped your baby brother up pretty good. And I found that quite surprising. I hope I was able to clear a few things up for you here today. So that's enough of that. I'm going to close this video out and just remind you and everyone else, don't keep the faith. See ya.